Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. I ran across this adorable little insert. I guess you could call it an insert for a journal. It's one sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 paper, that is folded in a way that it makes all of these different little pockets. Here's some, and here's some in the back. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to make something like this if you were going to put something in your journal where you had different details that you wanted to write about the same event, and they might have a different parts of the same event or same topic, but you wanted them all kept together. And this, as you can see, there is a special birthday coming up in my family. So as the grandson's birthday is approaching, I decided to have all of the cards, the journal cards in this little piece, be together in this little insert, and I can write about just different aspects of this special milestone that he's going to have. But I love that it just tucks into that little stopper there. And it's easy to make. It has some kind of funky folds, but we're going to go over it several times. So let's just get started. Oh, I should mention that because I wanted a consistent theme visually throughout the whole thing, I made all of the cards out of the same illustrated children's book. So we're going to be looking at ways that if you want to have some consistent visuals in a little insert like that, easy ways to do that. I kind of object to the grandma being in that sort of stereotypical garb, but I am a grandma who's very proud of her grandson, so I had to stick a little thing in there. I can write a little bit there about how great it is to be this boy's grandma, who's going to be 8 on September 8th. Let's start with folding the insert. I'm going to just do it with a sheet of 8.5 by 11 copy paper. I believe you call this A4 in the US or in the UK. And I want to mark the middle here because we're going to be doing some folds towards the middle. And so I'm just going to make a tiny little fold there and just a little pinch of a fold there. And I'm going to mark here. Now, I'm going to fold in one side so it becomes just even with that center mark. I'm showing you on this copy paper just for demonstration purposes, and then we're going to get into regular paper in a little bit. And I'm going to show you a way that it's going to be easier to see where the folds are as well. Okay, bringing that just up to here. There's no measuring in this at all. There's a little bit of estimating, but there we go. And I think I can erase that marker because we don't have to use that again. Now on the bottom, I'm going to turn this up just an inch or maybe just a little bit more than an inch. You can eyeball that. I've got my grid here so I can see that this is just a little bit more than an inch deep, this fold. There we go. And then we're going to take the top and we're going to fold that down over, there's this little flap, leave that folded up and have this edge, what we're thinking of as the top edge, fold that down to be on top of this flap, but have it coming about 2/3 of the way down. So do not fold it so that this edge is flush with this folded edge down here. Fold it on top of the flap, but about 2/3 of the way in. So about 1/3 of your flap is showing at the bottom. That's all going to become clear. There we go. And that is all the folding that we are going to do. Now we're going to be doing some cutting. This is going to be a little bit difficult to see, but I think I'm going to bring in another piece here. You can see that this is one, a double-sided piece of very lightweight scrapbook paper that I stamped on the white side. I have folded this the same way, but I have inked those folds so it's going to be easier for you to see. So I'm just going to set this aside. That was for folding for demonstration purposes. This is the same thing, but again, I have inked those folds so it's easier for you to see what we're going to do. Now we're going to, again, I have it facing towards us with this little little rectangular pieces at the bottom, because that's where there's going to be a little tuck spot. I'm going to cut this here. I'm going to go from this upper left-hand corner to this intersection right here. So from the outside into the middle. And you could draw a line if you wanted to and cut it with scissors, but now I'm gonna cut along this fold here. So you can see now I have a little flap here, but the long edge is at the top. We're not going to fold it again just yet. Now I'm going to go to the right-hand side of that upper rectangle, and I'm going to start inward in the corner that's next to that center rectangle. And I'm going to come diagonally to the right-hand edge of our sheet. And just like we did before, I'm going to cut right along this middle edge. I saw this on Instagram, and I believe the poster was an account called Paper in a Box. I'll put it in the description box below. It was a very fast-moving... before I get to my jibber-jabbering, I should show you again. I've cut this this here. I come back to this center, this intersection here that's inland, and I'm going to come down and come to the outer edge, not all the way to the bottom of the page, but down to this fold here. This is going to be really easy once you see the whole thing come together. Anyway, the Instagram account, I believe, was Paper in a Box, and there was a very short video that went really, really fast. And I thought, man, that is a neat idea. But I needed to watch it about, seriously, I think I watched that video about 15 or 20 times just to follow each step. But it was a very clever idea. I don't want to take credit for the idea because it wasn't mine. Okay, you can see how I started here and I came out to this edge. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but the mirror image of it. So I'm going to come to this, the end of this fold, not all the way to the bottom of our full sheet, but down to this fold. And I'm going to come to this little inland intersection. It's going to get way easier once you've seen this a couple of times, so don't stress over this. Hold on to these if you like, because they can come in handy. I'm going to show you how a little bit later. So you can see here, I have two little, kind of make a little parallelogram up here. One where the flat edge is at the top and one where the flat edge is in the center here. And then alongside your bottom rectangle, this is like cut like lines of an A-line skirt. I'm going to now cut the bottom of this little triangle here, and the bottom of this triangle. You can see there's lots of flaps that are starting to form. There we go. Now I'm going to take out my scissors. You can continue to use anything you want. And we're going to cut this lower left-hand corner rectangle, this small rectangle, but we're not going to cut all the way to this fold. We're going to leave about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, just a little bit there. And then we're going to come over on this side, and I'm going to come out, you know, an inch, 1.5 inches, and I'm going to make an angled cut that way. So hopefully these inked edges make it easier to see what's going on. Truthfully, even if I wasn't showing this on camera, I would ink this up because it's just easier to see while I'm doing the cutting and positioning where my where I want my ruler to go. This is all the cutting. The rest is just going to be doing some folding and some gluing. But I'm also going to be doing some inking because I do like inking on this. I've done the folds already. And I'm going to do just a real quick little bit of inking along these cut edges. I thought this would be really, really cute, just as a little fun, interactive little insert in a junk journal pocket. Ways to stuff lots of little goodies, lots of different thoughts. If you were doing something like this to keep a memory of a party, you know, you could jot down, you know, what recipes you used, what party fare you served, who was there, what was your music playlist like, what was the most exciting gift, what is the most wonderful thing this birthday honoree is doing at this age. I'll tell you one thing my little grandson is doing and enjoying so much as he approaches his 8th birthday is he has become very good at swimming. We've been taking him to swimming lessons at the neighborhood rec center for a year, and he's slow and steady. This summer, he has really taken off. We've been taking him to the neighborhood swimming pool and just having fun this summer swimming, which is really fun. All right, now let's start to do some folding, and you can see the whole thing take place. In these that I have made, I have started again up in this upper left-hand folder, or upper left-hand corner, and I fold this little flag, this little triangle. I fold that to the back. The reason being is I want this flat edge along this piece here. And I'm going to glue that down. This is not my favorite piece of scrapbook paper, but I thought maybe fold it up when I only had to see bits of it. It would be okay. Here's the inside where I've done some stamping. Again, in brighter than my usual color palette. And that is going to form a little pocket, a little tuck spot there. So we have this together. Now I'm going to take these flaps here and fold them towards the back. Turn it this way. And this is actually going to be the back of our little insert. And when I did all of this inking, yeah, some of it gets covered up, but I could have changed my mind and folded things the other way too. So plus I wanted you to be able to see those lines easily. So I just inked all of the folds. And that way, if I changed my mind and wanted to flip-flop things a little bit, I could have done that. Now, this is going to come up like this. And, okay, here's our bottom flap. I'm going to fold that up. And I'm going to use this little excess piece here as a wraparound piece on the back. There we go. And this piece, this little angled piece here, I'm going to fold back on itself, fold it towards the left, and I'm going to glue that down very close to that edge. And I'm going to adhere only the bottom part of that little angled flap here. And you can see what's happening here is when this comes down, when this piece comes down, this can just tuck right into there. And there it is. There's our insert. Let's do one more just so you can see all of the folding. And I'm gonna bring this in case you want to do a screenshot. Here is one that might be useful for you. Let me double check and make certain that's all showing. There we go. I think that should all be showing. This is the shape that you want. So check and make certain that all of your flaps are, if you're doing this, check and make certain that all your flaps are going in the right way. Again, opposite triangles here, flat part on the top, flat part in the middle here, and then the lower half, like an A-line skirt. Down here, these little lines opened up, a little bit of excess that's going to be a wraparound, and a little bit here that's going to be our tuck spot. Let's glue together another one so we can look at that folding again. And then we'll work on putting some cards in there. Here is one in a black and white theme that I have done the inking and I have done the folding. And I just, like we could go either way because this little tuck spot doesn't have to be on this side. It can be on the other side. But I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Again, I'm going to bring this. This, I'm afraid, isn't going to show up too well. Maybe I'll bring in a white piece so that'll show up a little bit better for you. Here's this little flag that's with the flat on top. I'm going to put that on the back and glue that down. This is a double-sided piece of I think this is a Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper, which is not as thick as regular cardstock, so it makes a nice weight for this. I don't think I would use really heavy scrapbook paper, but mid-weight is fine. You just want something that can fold and you can keep a nice crisp edge. Here is this little triangle piece. And if you find that your edges meet in a way, that your folded in piece might be binding up in that fold, you can go ahead and just trim a little bit off. Just so you don't get too much bulk in that corner. There we go. So this is the piece that's going to fold down and become the front. Go. Now I'm going to do the back. These little double. It looks like this guy is a little bit extending down, encroaching on the area beneath it. So I'm going to trim that excess off, and the same here. Just keep those scissors handy and avoid extra bulk in those creases. There's some here and some here. Now this is the back. The double pocket piece is the back of your insert. This coming up. Let's put our little tuck spot here. This is actually going to be the little pocket. Looks like I did not ink that. I just feel kind of funny sometimes about putting brown ink on black and white paper, but yet I did, and that's fine. Okay, here's this little bit of wraparound. Because this is all color coordinated, I don't mind that contrast being there at all. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the edge there, and then this folds onto itself. Again, with a little bit that needs inking. Barely visible, but, and along the bottom. And there's our little closure. And here's our insert. Oh, aren't these cute? But do you know how they're even cuter? Once you get some cards into them. So why don't we make some of those? I have, let me see. I took earlier, for a project that I worked on yesterday, I had a big calendar, like a nice cardstock weight calendar, and it had big whimsical kind of block printed nature scenes on it, and I thought these might be actually kind of nice for this this project. And I didn't measure them, so I maybe can cut them down. I don't know that I really love that on there. I don't really love that. Maybe this would be a good one where I just put some sort of random things in. This one is a little bit tall. So go through your stash of things you have and see what you can put in there. Then we're going to work on one that's a little more coordinated. Looks like I can cut this off. Again, we have these things in our stash, but they can almost always be altered, can't they? This makes a nice little card. Put that in there. Sticking out a little bit off the top. I should have been a little more aggressive in my trimming process. I'm not going to worry about inking or anything right now. Main thing, I just want you to be able to see this thing fill up. This, I wonder if this could work. I had this little puzzle piece here, and this looks, I made this months ago. Yes, that is going to be able to fit in there. And then what else could fit here? I could put a playing card there, an altered playing card. And I have a whole bunch of little things in here that I call small tuck-ins, and they might be a little bit too small, actually. This might not be bad. A little bit long. There we go. So you actually have 4 pockets here. And what could go in there? That's not really the right, I don't really like that lace sticking out there. Here's a little, yeah, let's just put this little tag there. Barely fits. So maybe not the best, certainly not the most coordinated pieces, but you can see how a lot of different things can come together into this cute little insert. Let's look at a way, if you want everything to kind of not be matchy-matchy, but at least be a little bit coordinated. You know, cutting a bunch of things out of a calendar like this, that's one way to do it, although that could almost fit in here. What I had in mind, though, was to take some of these mini master boards. I made a couple of just on some sheets of cardstock that will serve as backing for these cards. I had some illustrations from a mid-century decorating book, and they were just kind of loud and colorful, and I just put them together with a few little pieces of dictionary page. And I thought, let's see, in this black and white little pocket insert thingy, let's see how something like this could work to kind of create some cohesive cards to go in something like this, adding pops of color into something black and white. So I'm going to get my pencil out, and I'm going to estimate that the width of our piece is going to be about like this. And it looks like it's 3 3/4. 3 3/4 here. And let me get out my longer ruler, and I'm just going to do a little bit of slicing right here. Lamp over here I usually have on. Forgot to turn that on. Okay. Kind of like that chair there. So I'm going to cut off the top here and see how that works as a card. Certainly they don't have to be cohesive. You saw in that first pink plaid one, those were all, that was a mishmash, an eclectic collection of cards in there. But it's kind of fun to have things be kind of coordinated as well. Just I'm eyeballing this one. And I'm not gonna go through the corner rounding process yet, because I want to see if these are the right ones. Yeah, I kind of like that chair. It's a little tall on the top. And yeah, that'll be okay. Now let's see what we need for the inside here. That can be about like that. And where's my, I want it to stick in there. Maybe about like that. I used to always think I wanted to start bringing my big paper trimmer over here to the craft desk, and I still do use it a lot, but I've gotten so used to using this knife that kind of, it just it takes up a lot less room, and to me it's easier to use. Okay, here's one more that can go in there. I could have put a little more space up top on that. Maybe that could go up. Nope, I'm gonna leave it down here. And I think I would like that bookcase to be showing like that. So I'm gonna come down. I believe when I eyeballed it, it was about like that. Well, come on now, little scamp. There we are. How do those fit? I've got some little scraps here. I can put that in there. Yeah, I like that. But you know what it needs? It needs inking, right? Because it needs to be able to kind of be defined. So I won't go through and do all of these because we're at 30 minutes and I've got a much longer video coming up next week. So I don't want to try your patience by going way over time this week too, but here we go. Oh, it looks much better when it's inked off. And I could go in and put a little label or something there. I think something like that might be nice if I found something appropriate. But there's that. There's a couple little more pieces that when I finish it off, I'll be doing so with the rounded edges and the inking. And then this card and this card. I think these are fun and they are super easy to use. Get out your lightweight paper. If it just has a color on one side, stamp it on the other. One other thing you can do, and this is what I did in this first one that I made for Barney's birthday, because for my insert, I used a plain craft paper. I used the little cutoffs that I did here, and the cast off pieces, I trimmed them down just a little bit and I covered them with napkin and let them dry, and then just glued them in place. And so all of these little pockets are decorated with the napkin decoupaged on top of these offcuts. So that's another way that you can decorate these. But well, they really are not that hard. They really are not that hard to manipulate, to put in. But have fun with these, whether you plan out your insert cards or whether you just use some fun things that you have on hand. I know you're going to enjoy this fun little insert. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.